It all began on a Sunday morning, just as the sun crept over the ridge and warmed the dew off my cabbage roses. I was sitting on my porch, boots up, coffee in hand, peace humming in the air. Until I heard it. The unmistakable click-clack of high heels on gravel. I turned my head, and there she was. Karen. Dressed like she was, moments away from giving a TED Talk on community uniformity and suburban superiority. She waved like we were old friends, and then strutted up my porch like she had a lease on it. "Hi, I'm Karen," she chirped. "President of the Windrest Homeowners Association. I noticed you're not yet a member." I took a slow sip of my coffee and gave her the only honest answer. Correct. She didn't love that. Welcome to Prodigy Chronicles. Don't forget to like and subscribe for your weekly dose of HOA horror stories. Karen, unfazed, whipped out a thick pamphlet like she was handing me the keys to the kingdom. "Joining the HOA comes with a lot of perks," she insisted. "Monthly newsletters, architectural approval privileges, even trash bin timing enforcement." Then she leaned in like she was sharing a secret. "And influence. A voice in the neighborhood. You'd be part of something bigger than yourself." I nearly choked on my coffee. "Ma'am, I grow pumpkins the size of golden retrievers. That's already bigger than anything your HOA's got going on." Her smile twitched. "Well, I'll give you some time to reconsider." Over the next few days, she became a regular, like a door-to-door saleswoman with a clipboard and a cause. HOA brochures showed up in my mailbox twice daily. She'd pop in under the guise of a friendly neighbor visit, but her eyes scanned my barn like she was looking for HOA violations hiding in the hay. She even offered me a trial membership, like this was a gym, not a power-hungry committee with a vendetta. I declined, repeatedly, calmly, firmly. But Karen wasn't built for rejection. Her friendly act started to glitch. You could see it, the smile thinning, the nostrils flaring. I had unknowingly triggered a suburban tyrant. Still, I figured that would be it. She'd move on. I was wrong. She didn't give up. She escalated. First came the noise complaints. 3 in 1 week. Once for my rooster crowing at sunrise, another for my cow Matilda mooing too aggressively, and one because my old tractor backfired and, according to her, disrupted the spiritual harmony of the neighborhood. The county officers looked more embarrassed each time they showed up. But Karen? She started taking notes. Clipboard, timestamps, color-coded tabs. This wasn't a hobby. This was a full-blown HOA crusade. Next, she turned to the neighborhood. The whispers started. "He's not really one of us," she said over brunch to the Johnsons. "Not a team player." By Tuesday, Old Man Fisher wouldn't make eye contact. By Friday, someone tossed a pile of HOA flyers over my fence like it was contraband. A few neighbors still waved, but it was the tight-lipped kind, like they'd been warned not to engage with the outsider. Then came the ultimate HOA flex. A cease and desist letter, hand-delivered, hot pink envelope. I'm not kidding. Apparently my scarecrow's hat didn't match the approved seasonal color scheme. That was the violation. I laughed so hard I nearly tacked the letter to my chicken coop as a scare tactic. But Karen was just getting started. One morning, I stepped out to find a row of neon orange cones at the edge of my property. A sign taped to one read, "HOA Work Zone, Members Only." I cleared them with my front loader. She filed another complaint. Unauthorized heavy machinery use. She even tried rerouting my Amazon packages to a so-called HOA-approved pickup location. Who does that? The final straw came when she cornered me outside the feed store and hissed, "You'll be out of here soon. You'll see." Her tone? Not hopeful. Not helpful. It was threatening. Confident. Like she was sure something bigger was coming. That's when I knew. This wasn't about regulations anymore. This was war. Karen had launched a full-blown HOA offensive, and I was done playing nice. Now, I wasn't just going to resist. I was going to fight back, with pumpkins, Matilda, and every rooster alarm clock at my disposal. Stay tuned. The real battle is just beginning. I wasn't just going to push back anymore. I was going to shove her entire plastic throne off a cliff, and I'd do it the old-fashioned way, with paperwork. So I did what farmers do best. I got my hands dirty. But this time, not with soil, with records. I took a little trip to the county recorder's office, a place Karen would never step foot in unless it served Chardonnay or unchecked authority. I asked the clerk for every legal document ever filed under Windrest HOA. She looked at me like I'd asked for the original blueprints of the Pentagon. 3 hours later, armed with a thumb drive and a stack of printed papers heavier than a sack of feed, I walked out with something better than revenge. I had proof. Turns out the HOA that Karen worshipped like a second religion had a skeleton closet so full it needed its own storage unit. Windrest HOA was founded over 20 years ago, in a barely quorum meeting of 3 neighbors and a prayer. And the signatures? Sloppy forgeries. One guy listed as a voting member had been dead for 6 months when the paperwork was filed. Yep, ghosts joining HOAs. Karen, you really outdid yourself, and it only got worse. They had been claiming power over properties completely outside their legal boundary, including mine, illegally, for years. Then came the financials. Turns out Karen had been using HOA funds for personal events hosted at a spa she just happened to co-own. She even paid herself from community dues for things like energy cleansing consultations, decorative mailbox revitalization, and my personal favorite, a $4,000 charge for an emergency crystal alignment for neighborhood harmony. That wasn't leadership. That was cult behavior with a debit card. So I built a case. A very thick, shiny one. I cross-referenced documents, highlighted the damning parts, and dropped a copy with a county investigator whose eyes lit up like he'd just cracked a career-defining case. This wasn't about saving my farm anymore. It was about setting the whole corrupt empire on fire and watching it collapse. A few mornings later, I was out feeding the goats when I heard sirens. 3 police cruisers rolled up to Karen's pastel-painted castle, lights flashing like the 4th of July. She walked out in her signature pearls and a blazer so stiff it could stand on its own. Tried to act surprised, but you could tell her Botox couldn't keep up with the panic. The lead officer handed her a folder thicker than the HOA rulebook. Fraud, embezzlement, filing false government documents. Her jaw dropped straight onto the HOA-approved gravel driveway. I stood by the fence sipping lemonade like I'd been waiting for this day my whole life. She screamed about misunderstandings, called the neighbors ungrateful, tried accusing me of planting fake evidence. But the investigator shut her down. "Ma'am, we've got 25 witness statements and a signed confession from your treasurer. You're done." As they hauled her off in handcuffs, she looked at me through the back window of the cruiser. I raised my glass and tipped it like a farewell salute. She didn't wave back. Now for the best part. With Karen behind bars and the truth out in the open, the HOA crumbled like overbaked cornbread. Board members quit. Emergency meetings turned into panic parties. Lawyers scrambled to undo the damage, but the damage was deep. Eventually, the county slapped the entire HOA with a cease and desist order. And then, because the universe has a sense of humor, I got a letter. An offer to become the interim executive of the very same HOA that tried to destroy me. Apparently, the neighborhood trusted me now. I read it once, laughed, then tossed it into my fire pit. Instead, I filed a petition, backed by 63 residents, most of whom used to side-eye me, to dissolve the HOA completely. It passed, unanimously. Windrest HOA officially died that day, and nobody mourned it. We held a block party to celebrate. There were fireworks, grilled burgers. Someone even brought a piñata shaped like a clipboard. We burned every HOA flyer we could find. As for my farm, it's quiet now. No surprise visits, no pink envelopes, just fields, freedom, and Matilda the cow mooing as loud as she pleases. The war was over, and I won. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more wild chronicles of neighborhood showdowns and HOA takedowns. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Let us know in the comments below.